Have you ever felt like you were carrying a heavy load that no one else could see? A continual buzzing of worry. Do you feel like something is wrong with you on a deep level, even if you can't put your finger on what it is? For a lot of us, the scars of the past that we can't see talk to us in the present, sometimes loudly. Today, we're not simply talking about a diagnosis. We're going to talk about complex post-traumatic stress disorder, or CPTSD. This isn't just one awful day or a little period of fear. This is about the sneaky, often never-ending effects of living through a lot of trauma, the sort that changes how you see yourself, your relationships, and your place in the world. If you've been feeling tired for no reason, lonely, or like you're always fighting a battle you can't see, this might be the talk you've been waiting for. It's time to finally give that quiet fight a name. Getting to the bottom of CPTSD. CPTSD is different from regular PTSD since it comes from repeated long-lasting stress instead of just one very traumatic event. The kind that happens in relationships, especially when you're a kid. Think of it as a constant wearing away of the self, leaving behind a landscape of deep emotional and mental scars. It's the result of living in a place where safety was never guaranteed, where your sense of self was always being attacked, or where your basic needs for love and safety were never addressed. This isn't about weak people. It's about how amazing, though often painful, the human mind is at adapting to situations that are hard to imagine. Let's talk about the main signs that can help you figure out if you have CPTSD. These words aren't just clinical. They're echoes of real pain that are often hidden in plain sight. Sign 1. Problems with emotions. The tides that can't be predicted. Think about how hard it would be to steer a ship over a wild sea without a compass. That's how it feels to have emotional dysregulation. You may have strong mood swings going from abrupt bursts of anger to deep despair frequently with no clear reason. It's not simply being grumpy. It's a nervous system that's been trained to always be on guard and is having trouble getting back to a tranquil state. You may feel like your feelings are too huge for you, or that you're always about to explode with emotion. This can show up as rage that comes out of nowhere, constant worry, deep sadness, or even overwhelming shame. You might not be able to calm yourself down very well, which is a skill that commonly develops in early partnerships. Sign 2. A distorted view of oneself. The shattered mirror. Trauma can change how we see ourselves. With CPTSD, this shows itself as a very distorted view of oneself. You may always feel ashamed and guilty, thinking that you are awful, useless, or imperfect in some way. This isn't just a passing idea. It's a strong belief that comes from being criticized or embarrassed by your abusers. You can feel like you don't fit in with others all the time, that you're an outsider looking in, or you might have a deep sense of being broken. This can make you really require other people's approval. But at the same time, you may not trust praises or real love. The inner critic becomes a constant source of pain, repeating the negative messages that were picked up throughout formative years. Sign 3. Problems in relationships. The dance of doubt. The partnerships that should bring comfort to people with CPTSD sometimes turn into minefields. Having trouble with relationships is a common sign, and it comes from a deep-seated suspicion of other people. You could find it hard to make safe connections because you go back and forth between wanting to connect deeply and being terrified of being left alone or betrayed. This can cause you to have a history of unhealthy relationships, like trauma bonding, where you unknowingly repeat the same patterns from your past. You can be attracted to partners who aren't available, or you might have trouble setting limits, either being overly strict or too loose. The ability to trust, which is the basis of all healthy relationships, has been broken. The paradox is heartbreaking, wanting to connect, yet being afraid of it at the same time. Sign 4. Dissociation is the way out. The mind looks for a way out when reality gets too much to handle. Dissociation is a strong way to deal with stress that people often don't know they're doing. You can feel mildly detached, like you're watching your own life, or you might feel more strongly like depersonalization when you feel like you're not real, or derealization when the world feels unreal. You can forget things, feel like you're losing time, or have trouble connecting with your feelings. Your brain is like a fire alarm that goes off to protect you by detaching from the present. This can show up as zoning out, feeling numb, or having a general sense of unreality. For some, it's an important tool for staying alive, but over time it makes it hard to feel fully present and connected. 5. Physical symptoms. The body keeps the score. CPTSD doesn't just damage the mind. It has a big effect on the body as well. Physical symptoms are very common since the neurological system is always in a state of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Chronic pain, digestive problems, exhaustion, autoimmune diseases, or being more sensitive to noise and light are all possible signs of this. Your body is always on high alert, even when there isn't an immediate danger. The adrenal system is overworked, which causes a lot of physical problems that contemporary medicine has a hard time diagnosing or treating. It's the body's silent scream full with pain from things that haven't healed. Sign 6. The dimming light or losing meaning and hope. Long-term trauma can take away a person's sense of purpose and future. A very distressing sign of CPTSD is losing hope and meaning. You could feel like there is no hope that things will never get better, or that you are doomed. This isn't just, it's a pervasive sense of anhedonia, which means you can't feel pleasure or joy. You might have trouble imagining a future, feel stuck in the past, or even wonder what the meaning of life is. This spiritual and existential crises might make you feel quite alone, which can make it hard to live your life or find inspiration. Sign 7. The internalized abuser, or shame. Guilt and self-blame. One of the worst things about CPTSD is that it makes you believe what the abuser says. Guilt, shame, and blaming yourself become very strong. You can think that you deserve the abuse, that it was your fault, or that you are terrible by nature. This blaming yourself is a frantic attempt to make sense of the impossible and give the impression that you have control when you don't. It's the worst kind of betrayal when the victim sees things from the point of view of the one who hurt them. It can be very hard to heal when you feel like you have to punish yourself all the time. This is because it stops people from getting treatment or even admitting that they are in pain. Sign 8. The child who is neglected has trouble with self-compassion and self-care. People with CPTSD typically have a hard time taking care of themselves and being compassionate and understanding. If you were raised in a way that made you feel worthless, it's hard to be kind to yourself and take care of yourself. You can ignore your fundamental needs, do things that hurt yourself, or find it very hard to put your own health first. It can be hard to understand the idea that you deserve attention or comfort. This sometimes comes from a deep-seated attitude that you don't deserve love or care, a belief that prior events have sadly strengthened. It's a battle inside you where one part of you really needs care and the other part thinks you don't deserve it. Sign 9. Feeling empty all the time. The hollow core. After going through a lot of trauma, some people say they feel a deep and uncomfortable sense of emptiness all around them. It's not simply ennui. It's a feeling of emptiness, like you're not connected to yourself or the world. You can feel lost, numb, or like something important is missing from your life. This can make you feel like you need to always look for outside stimulation or like you're never satisfied. No matter what you do or achieve, it's a hole left by not having real connections. A confirmation in your early years. Sign 10. Trouble with setting limits. The porous self. Trauma can make it hard for someone to know where their own limits are. People with CPTSD have trouble with boundaries all the time. It could be hard for you to say no, guard your own time and space, or make your demands known. On the other hand, you could become too rigid and drive people away to protect yourself. This is because in the past, your boundaries were always crossed, so you didn't know where you ended and someone else began. As a result, people often feel overwhelmed, angry, or that they are always being misunderstood. Sign 11. Hypervigilance. The watchful sentinel. People with CPTSD frequently have a nervous system that is always ready for danger. Hypervigilance is when you are always on the lookout for risks that may or may not be there. You can be easily scared, very sensitive to sounds or movements, or always expecting the worst. This isn't something you choose to do. It's a survival instinct that has become established in you. It used to be helpful, but today it keeps you in a condition of constant tension and fatigue. It's like an alarm that goes off all the time, even when there's no fire. Sign 12. Reenacting trauma. The unseen pull. One of the most heartbreaking signs may be when someone unconsciously relives their tragedy. It's not about wanting to be in uncomfortable situations. It's rather about being drawn to familiar but undesirable patterns. You can find yourself in the same kinds of abusive relationships again and over again, or in situations that remind you of your past. You might even do things that hurt yourself and keep you from feeling safe and happy. It's the mind's desperate, often incorrect attempt to manage the trauma and eventually achieve control over what was once out of control. You don't just recall the anguish, you feel it again as you find your way back. The first brave step toward healing is to recognize these signs. If any of these things really hit home for you, know that you are not alone, and you are not broken. You are a survivor, and the way you react makes sense given the crazy things that are happening. It takes a lot of fortitude, patience, and often professional help to get over CPTSD. The road to recovery is not a straight line. It means making your life safe both inside and out. It requires learning to control those strong feelings a little at a time. It's about progressively and softly reconnecting with yourself and other people to build a sense of solid attachment. And at its core, it's about mourning your losses, accepting your past without letting it shape your future, and finding your own value again. It's important to remember that real strength isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up even when your past feels too heavy. It takes a long time to get out of the shadows of CPTSD, but it is very gratifying. It's a journey to get back to who you are, one breath, one moment, and one bold stride at a time. If you like this video, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel for future videos that try to explain complicated psychological issues. With your help, we can contact more people who may be having problems, but aren't saying anything. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. Which of these symptoms were most similar to what you or someone you know has been through? Sharing your opinions helps people come together and support each other. If you could relate to the relationship problems we talked about today, you might find my earlier video, 10 Signs You're Trauma Bonded, Not Actually in Love, very helpful. It goes into more detail about how scars from the past might affect our relationships in the present. Thanks for viewing. Remember that your healing journey is your own, and it's worth taking.